Okay, so what are you saying, people, and welcome back to your favorite YouTube channel. So today, guys, like always, another weekly analysis for you. On the screen other pairs we'll be analyzing today, but make sure you do stay to the end of the video. As always, there is a bonus pair for you. I'll quickly go through my trade first for the week. We'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at the DXY, and then we'll progress into the analysis shortly afterwards. So if there is a particular pair you do want to see my analysis too, feel free to skip ahead using the timestamps below. But I had one position this week on Euro CHF, which I'm still currently in, holding it over the weekend. We'll see how this position continues next week. But it was a pair I was looking at. I was looking at a lot of CHF pairs recently. I was trading pound CHF not long ago. Then I was looking a lot at New Zealand CHF and Euro CHF. At the moment in time, Euro gave me the better signal. New Zealand CHF did set up about a day later, but because I'm already in Euro CHF, I don't want to double up on the CHF pair, so I'm focused on this trade here at the moment, looking for a swing, a continuation of the trend. If I do zoom out to the daily chart, market's been very consistent with these lower highs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looking for the next one, really strong double top pattern, had a really aggressive wick rejection above the high last week, and I was waiting for some momentum. It finally happened this week. Found my entry. Was that last week? No, that was actually Monday. Felt like last week, but on Monday, really big wick rejections. I was waiting for some momentum to find my entry. Didn't get it until Thursday. Got my entry there, and in a little bit of profit, but price is moving a little bit sideways. So hopefully momentum can pick up. Again, the thing about Euro CHF and the rest of the CHF pairs is that everything's so bearish on the higher time frames. We're seeing monthly trend bearish, weekly, daily, full hour. So as long as we keep up with these lower highs and don't go and break structure, that will keep me short. My stop loss is just above that wick high. I'm looking to see if I can swing it back to these lows here, and then we'll go from there. But that is really the plan there for Euro CHF. In terms of the dollar, very, very bullish. It looks like we've got a really big breakout on the weekly chart. Just had a really nice weekly candle closure. It looks like this range has finally met its end, and price is showing some confident momentum above the high. So for 2025, as long as we stay above 107, this level resistance here, which of course will be now turned support, as long as we can stay above that, I do expect us to eventually go and hit 113 and see a bit of a trend forming. So I'm actually really excited for that, because hopefully we can see a bit of a trend like we saw in 2022. Maybe not as aggressive, but some nice higher highs and higher lows. Been pretty flat for the past couple of years, so changing market conditions could be really good, and hopefully we can see some really nice momentum. But in terms of the analysis, expecting more upside. Again, drop to the 4-hour chart, we're still seeing higher highs and higher lows. I did say I was looking for a bigger pullback into this area. Unfortunately, didn't see that happen. Now that we've broken out this range over the Christmas, New Year's period, over the festive period, now it looks like this is a healthy range for price to come back and retest next week. And again, see more upside, take out the highs and see new highs. There isn't any area specifically which I'm targeting, because there's nothing really to the left. We haven't been in these areas since 2022. So I'm kind of just playing it by a psychological level. So if you do go and break through the high, I think 110 is the next big area to look at, and then we'll go from there. But I am expecting more upside for USD. So taking that information into Euro USD, of course, I'm expecting more downside, and the price action is doing a pretty good job at giving us the inverse. It looks like USD, DXY, and Euro are very nicely correlated at the moment, inversely correlated at the moment. Sometimes they can be a bit out of sync, but right now it looks like they're doing exactly the same as each other, just in opposite directions. So for Euro, again, lovely break of the low this week, has left behind some healthy areas for retest. So this being one of them, around 1.03500, and this range up here being another one of them as well, just to get a bit more specific in terms of the location. I think both look really good for some entries, so depending how much we see of a pullback, but as long as we keep up with these lower highs, expecting another one of them to form either at this area or if you have a slightly deeper correction, one of those two levels there. And again, judging Euro USD from a higher time frame perspective as well, it does look like price has finally cleared out this level of support as well, broken through with some confident momentum. So I do expect a bit of a trend to form, and again, possibly some swings back to the low there as well longer term. So Euro to me looking very bearish, and I do like the shorts on this one. Again, a bit more intraday. I'll probably say if you're looking at hourly and below for entries, you can probably maximize the opportunity the best in terms of risk to reward. But term setup looks really good, high time frame backing as well, and does look like we can see more downside, especially if DXY is strong. So keep an eye on those opportunities next week. Again, targets back to the wick low, but same thing as dollar. Don't really have a target below that, apart from maybe the psychological levels. So 1.015, 1.01 will be areas I'll be expecting euro to get to eventually, but that is the plan next week for euro USD. Okay, so over to dollar yen. So dollar yen looking very bullish. I'm expecting more upside in the next coming weeks. If I expand to the daily chart, I do think we have a good chance of getting back to 161, 162, which is back at the swing high there. And weekly, we're seeing the same thing as well. Weekly, we had a really strong breaking retest of this level here not long ago. Momentum has sustained since then. And more importantly, if I drop back to the 4-hour chart, broken through some highs here, which is the structure I'm looking to follow. If the market respects the highs and turn around, that would be a sign that, okay, the bears are still holding. But we had a lot of momentum after the USD interest rate and the yen interest rate broke the highs convincingly. So now I'm looking for the next higher low in the sequence, which is, this is the prior higher low. This is the next place I'm looking for it to happen. Nice brief pause in the market. All that momentum came from that area. And of course, it does line up with a lovely fib level of the 0.5 just about. If you can see a test of those areas in confluence, that'll be fantastic. Find the next high low and then some continuation. On the other side of the coin, I do think if price was to break to the upside, I think the buys still look good as well. It's just not as big of a pullback as I would like for my personal trading. But again, the market doesn't really care about me personally. If the market wants to break to the upside, it will break to the upside. So I'm looking for that bigger pullback into this area, which is 154, 250. But should we see momentum sustain and USD be very bullish and yen see some weakness, there's a good chance we just break through the highs here, find a quick retest and just continue the momentum. So something like this, where we had that momentum from a couple of weeks ago, we could see that spill over out the top there and just kind of continue. So keep an eye for the retest of the high of the range, because we do have some equal highs there, equal lows here. So the market is pausing right now. It's either gonna just dart off and continue, or it's gonna have a bit of a breather, find some more buys, put that next major high or low in like we did over here, find another one and then continue. And that's what I'm looking for. Like I said, might just see momentum continue. So keep an eye on the breaking retest of 158, 158, 100 we'll call it. But same targets, looking for a push back to 162 for next week for dollar yen. Okay, so over to dollar CAD. So dollar CAD very bullish on this one as well. It's kind of similar to dollar yen, which we just had a look at. I'm looking for a bigger pullback into this zone. A lot of confluence there. You can see a really healthy trend at the moment in time. Whipping out the fib from the high, from the low to the high. Sorry, you can see it does line up very well with the 0.618 running through that zone. Yet to have a retest, and we do have this ascending trend line as well, connecting the higher lows. It would be nice to see if we can pull back, retest that area of confluence, see the next higher low, and trade it back to the highs. And that really is my plan A. But because there's still a lot of momentum in the market, we're consolidating right now. It looks like we're just having a bit of a pause. We could see the market just break the high and see that momentum spill over. So the next best opportunity would just be a retest of the high for more upside. So and it's similar to dollar yen in the way that we could just break on and continue, because there's just so much momentum with USD at the moment. We had a look at the dollar at the start of the video. That looks very strong. If that persists, there's a good chance dollar yen, dollar CAD will just break the high and continue. So watch out for the pullback. In terms of targets, if I expand to the weekly chart, actually, I'm looking for a push to 1.46. You can see massive rejection at these highs here. This is where I'm expecting price to get to next. Of course, we've broken through some major resistance back here long ago now, and momentum has really just caught fire, really. So I do think we'll see more upside back to that same level, and then we can analyze. Maybe we reject, maybe we break through. I don't know why I deleted that. Let me get that back there. There we go. But of course, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But for now, everything is still looking very bullish for dollar CAD. So yeah, with my bias being very bullish on dollar itself, or all of these dollar majors, I'm always looking for opportunities that favor that. Of course, within reason, if price action is not there, then I'm not going to try and force anything. There has to be good price action that aligns with that bias as well. But when it aligns with the bias and there's good price action, it means you've got a good opportunity in your hands. You just have to sit back and wait for the opportunity to present itself, and when it does, take the trade. And if it doesn't, you move on to the next one. But that is really my plan there for dollar CAD going into next week. Okay, so next up we've got euro pound. So euro pound, again, if I go to the monthly chart, still holding on for dear life. at that monthly zone. Really strong support this area. Again, I'm looking for price to bounce. Haven't really got a sign that price is breaking through. I want to see a strong kind of close on the monthly chart to tell me that, okay, we're breaking through. Let's look at breakout opportunities. Still getting wicks, momentum still slowing down, so I'm still looking for a push to the upside for euro pound. However, got to be patient, because if I drop back to the 4-hour chart, you can see everything still looks relatively bearish. Still seeing lower highs, the trend is still down. So I want to see signs of that shifting, so break of structure, taking out some previous highs as well. Then I'll be looking to try and catch the next higher low in that sequence. And now we trail it to take possibly back to some highs here. And the beauty of it as well is that if price does turn around from this area, it could be a very big turnaround. There's a lot of upside to take advantage of, because this is a monthly zone. It could reject us for the next 2, 3, 4, 5 months. So there could be a lot of upside for euro pound. But as you can see, we are starting to slow down at the lows, double bottom there. Maybe this is the next higher low. We need to see the breakout to confirm that. Let's take out structure whilst we're at it, and there could be some nice retests for the next higher low in that sequence and some buys. So that's really what I'm looking for with euro pound. Not really interested in the sells at the moment in time. If price was to continue go break through the lows again, and the momentum does really persist, then yeah, there could be some shorts and some retests, but we're a long way away from that. But if we can get something like this week, great. I'll be looking for some pullbacks and some higher lows. Got some nice targets to aim for back around 0.844. But I am a buyer of euro pound, just waiting for a good opportunity to actually get involved. Not seeing anything just yet. We're kind of just sideways, and like I said, for all I know, we could still drop and continue lower. But I'm waiting for the reversal, waiting for the shift, and then I can find some retest around 0.832, find some entries, and hopefully take it back into some swing highs down the left. But yeah, that is definitely my plan for euro pound next week. Okay, so next up we got Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar I'm very bearish on. Again, the USD pair, I'm expecting USD strength to remain. So pairs like Aussie dollar, I'm always expecting more downside. But then again, the price action does give us that sign as well. We're coming back into a major low. I do expect price to break through. We had a really strong close in the monthly chart for December, so I do expect that momentum to spill over and take that low out. Eventually, I do think we'll probably come back to this low here, but that's a story for another day. Of course, the market is pretty extended, so I do expect a pullback to happen at some point, and I'm kind of hoping for that because I want to keep shorting it. At the moment, the market is still very corrective, and I don't want to be shorting at these prices, especially with that type of price action. So I do want to see a bit of a push to the upside, find the next lower high, and then the continuation to the downside. You can see how consistent we have been with these major swing highs here. High over there, successive lower highs there as well. The plan is to find the next one, and these areas of support slash supply look really good to short from. This brief pause in the market before that momentum came from, I think that was just before the interest rates, looks really good around 0.63. And also this prior low here without a retest, 0.634, looks really good as well. And that's the plan, looking for that next low high, keep up that sequence until we see some signs that price is turning around in form of structure. So some higher lows forming, break of structure. Then I'll start to look at that in a bit more detail. But at the moment, not really seeing any signs of that. And even if we do see that happen, it's probably just going to be a bigger pullback for price to keep selling to the downside as well. So if we do see a bit of a trend form, it probably will topple over and continue south. But for now, this is my area of confluence, so keeping a close eye on that. Do want to see a bit of a pullback. We're coming up to some major swing lows underneath here, so hopefully we can get a pullback before that happens, and then we can kind of short it in the expectation that we'll go and take out that liquidity underneath that low. But for now, still very bearish on the Aussie dollar. There could be some counter trend buys. Like I said, I'm just not interested. I'm very much bullish on the USD, so I'm taking opportunities in that direction. So hopefully you can find a bit of a pullback, shorts around 0.63, and continuations back into 0.617 next week for Aussie dollar. Okay, so next up we've got New Zealand CAD. So New Zealand CAD very bearish on as well, looking for more downside. It does look from a higher time frame perspective that the lower highs on the weekly, monthly chart are just continuing, and potentially we put in another one with this high here. So I'm looking for a push back to this low and eventually this low here as well. But this is of course the next major low. So that's really what we're looking at. And we're seeing signs of that on the daily coming through as well, which is taking out these major higher lows. big push to the upside, create these highs. We've gone and taken out that structure, and now we've actually gone and taken out this structure here as well this week. So again, if the market was going to give us a bigger push to the upside or another high low, we should have respected these areas. The fact that structure is breaking to the downside, it's not a confident sign that the buyers are holding up well and the trend is going to continue higher. So that's a big sign that we're probably going to expect more downside. However, we do need to see a bit of a pullback. So again, there might be some counter trend buys you could look at, but because I do expect the bigger move to be to the downside, I just want to keep focusing on the shorts until proven otherwise. And there's a really healthy area to short from. You can see the current bearish trend we've got. Really nice lower highs, 1, 2, 3. Looking for that next one as well. So if we can get a pullback back into this zone, that is a very, very wonky line. Let me do that again. There we go, much better. So looking for a push into the zone here. Brief consolidation, strong drop to the downside. So we know a lot of momentum came from that area. Haven't yet come back for a retest. Hopefully we test the top end of the channel as well, like we've done in those prior occasions. Find the next lower high with our entries and hopefully at least swing it back to the prior low. But we do have that daily level just below at 0.79600. So yeah, very bearish in New Zealand CAD. A lot of signs, lots of arrows are pointing to the downside here. So I'm only focused on the shorts really. And if you can find some entries up there next week, that'd be great. Shorted back into the low and hopefully a little bit further as well. But that remains the plan for New Zealand CAD next week. Okay, so next up we've got pound NZD. So pound NZD I'm still very bullish on. We are trading at some sensitive areas, if I might add. You can see major highs we've taken out. This was a high from COVID, taken out that high. Took out another major high not long ago, which is this one as well. So typically when we do take out these major highs on the daily, weekly chart, eventually the market does go through a bit of a sell-off, as it does have a bit of a pullback. Sometimes momentum just keeps going and we keep flying. That is a possibility as well. And that's kind of what I'm looking at here for pound NZD. If we can keep up that momentum and keep pushing. There are a couple of areas which I do like in terms of the buys for pound NZD. The one we're trading at right now, 2.208, and definitely this one here just above price, which we're actually holding as resistance at the moment right now, which I would like to see price get back above. But I am looking at continuations here. We've had a healthy pullback. If I whip out the fib from that swing low to the high, you can see we pull back into the 50. We just tagged the 0.618 as well. So really healthy confluence here, tagged that area, and we are looking for a bounce and a continuation to the upside. Of course, if we do start breaking through, that's when I would start to kind of hold back and reanalyze there. But there's two areas of interest right now for pound NZD. Depends what you're looking for. If you want to see price get back above that level of resistance, support, then you're waiting for price to get back above that and find some longs after that. In fact, that'd be a really nice healthy sign, because at that point, at the current point now, price is rejecting that resistance. So if we can break above that, that's a sign that the buyers are taking more control, and we're likely to see another further push to the upside, or the slightly more aggressive but still a good trade, not a bad trade. The only reason why we do have a bit of noise is because there's a big level just above us. So if that wasn't so close, it would be a much better opportunity. Or you can look for another retest of that 0.618 fib alongside the retest of the high there as well, and look for some opportunities off the back of that. But overall, pound NZD is still a bullish pair, still seeing a lot of momentum. The previous bullish leg had a really big move to the upside, so it's still definitely ticking the boxes in terms of a healthy trend, and the goal is to try and find that next higher low to continue the move to the upside. So two areas of interest to look at there: 2.206 current level we're testing. Keep an eye on that. Looks like we're probably going to come back for another retest, so keep an eye on for some opportunities to long. And also you got that level there. Should we break above, that could be a nice space to add to longs or get into longs. But either which way, as long as we can hold those areas, looking for a push back to the high at 2.23800 next week. Okay, so over to CAD Yen. So CAD Yen and the Yen pair, I'm looking for some upside next couple of weeks, but I'm still looking at a big sell. If I expand to the daily chart, I'm still looking for the continuation of that drop in July/August, and I'm looking to see if I can get involved on some double tops at that high, and that's what I'm looking to get involved. That's why I was shorting from a couple of weeks back. I did exit that trade, and now if price can get there again, I will have another stab at that same swing, try and swing it back to these lows and further as well. So that's really the trade I'm after. But in the meantime, we do have some bullish structure to deal with on the 4-hour chart. So as I've been saying in the past couple of weeks, I do like the buys here for CAD Yen. It had a nice little double bottom down here. Price broke to the upside, higher high, higher low, higher high. So the plan is to look for the next higher low for, again, another push to the upside to get to that resistance. So then I can short it back down later on. And there's two areas that look good. This resistance here turns support, which we haven't really had a test yet. So could see that happen early next week, or should we have a deeper correction? There's this area here, brief consolidation, big push to the upside. Again, haven't come back to revisit that area. So should we have a deeper pullback, that would be the area I would expect price to get to. So I would say keep an eye on both those areas. Both look very good. Risk reward looks very good as well. Not even back to the high necessarily, even the push back to the swing high here. You can catch a retest in the low time frames there, because could still look at a very healthy risk reward back to those highs. And of course, if you want to push for the bigger daily target up there, be my guest. But you can definitely look to bank some partials at least, or trail stops when you do get to the high there as well. But then the trade I'm after really is the sell here. So that's really what I'm looking at, and have to stay patient, and hopefully we do get there, of course, because there's a chance we could still sell off before that. But yeah, CAD Yen still very bearish longer term, but at the moment still seeing healthy bullish structure. So looking for buys at 108, 500 and 107, 400, then some sells at 111, 500 for next week. Okay, so next up we got Pound USD. So Pound USD very bearish on, lovely move to the downside this week. We're talking about the break of that support. Last week we finally got it, lovely flush. Of course, USD strength really helped with that, and this is another USD pair, so I do expect more downside. I've talked about that daily zone just underneath us, and that's where I do expect price to end up at, maybe bounce from, maybe break through. But it does look like we're seeing more continuation, and with the break of that support this week, it does look like this trend line has been really put to bed, and we could probably see a lot more downside off the back of that as well. So Pound USD, more downside next week is my expectation. The market has been giving us a lot of these lower highs on the lower charts as well, kind of a rough trend line there, connecting the dots. So it would be really nice if Pound USD could pull back, retest that area. Haven't had a retest of that level yet since the break. So it'd be great if we can get there, retest that area, put the next lower high in, shorts on probably the hourly chart or lower, and really look and try and find the continuation, at least back to the low there, of course. But we do have the daily zone just underneath us at 1.232. So overall, Pound USD, I do expect more downside the next coming days. If USD keeps up its strength, Pound USD is likely to keep falling. I do think USD, however, can have a bit of a correction first, which of course will help Pound USD have that same correction in the opposite direction. But if we do see some signs of rejection, wicks, shift the momentum at this zone here at 1.24 to 1.25, we'll call it, then I'm expecting a continuation and targets at that wick low, the swing low, or the daily zone just underneath us make a low descent. So yeah, Pound USD still very bearish. As long as we keep up those lower highs, I do still see us having another continuation and seeing some new lows next week. Okay, so next up we got Pound CAD. So Pound CAD still having a lot of trouble at that weekly zone, and had a really nice sell-off actually at one point this week here. So as you can see, a lot of rejections at this weekly area. Talked about some shorts here that if the market does keep holding onto this level, there's a good chance we'll see a reaction to the downside, and that's exactly what we got this week. And if we drop to the 4-hour chart, there is actually a good sign of a continuation of that move, because lovely head and shoulder, as we can all see. You got the left, you got the head, you got the right shoulder, lovely break of structure, and of course breaking that low there. Now I'm looking at another lower high in this sequence, so one over there, second. I do like the shorts here for an opportunity to take it back down. Now again, this is still counter trend, so I'll still be very careful and not be too aggressive with positions, because this could turn bullish at any point really. The swing low down here is really the low that gave us that high up there. So technically speaking, we need to break through that to really put to bed the bearish structure. So although yes, we're rejecting levels very well, we could still just have a deeper correction just for price to keep pushing up. So and it's a long-standing trend line as well. A trend. It's not a trend that just formed out of nowhere. We've been pushing to the upside for quite a while, so it's definitely not a trend to take lightly. But there's some nice counter trend bearish structure here. Lovely high, really strong drop, nice correction, another lower high, really strong drop as well. So I do think there's a good chance to react to this area. And if you can catch some shorts back to the low, think that's a great trade in itself. And yeah, should be looking at a pretty healthy target as well. So that is the plan next week for pound CAD. Okay, so over to pound yen. So pound yen, another yen pair. I'm still looking for a big sell for this one, but I have to stay patient. Hasn't quite reached my level yet. So similar to CAD yen, looking for a pushback to the high here, big double top and a sell. The idea is that I'm looking for the continuation of that drop there in July, and then this move here is just the correction of that for a big continuation. But I need price to be at the high before I can place my shorts. I can get a good stop loss, maximize my risk reward. Of course, if things change and we break structure, then I'll find a lower high somewhere else, but that is really my first choice. Have to stay patient for that. At the moment in time, bullish structure is still holding. This is still our prior swing low, which gave us that move to the upside, and looks like we're having a bit of a pullback into that same zone. So as long as price can hold this next week, I do like the buys here to take it back into that zone. Then of course, if things look good, I'll look for my entries for the shorts, and then I'll look to take it right back down again. And that's really the plan I have for quite a few yen pairs. CAD yen, looking at something similar. Euro yen, I'm looking at that as well. And of course, pound yen here too, looking for that push to the upside. As long as we maintain these lows here, like I said, if price does break through that, then that would make me bearish, at least on the 4-hour time frame, looking for lower highs and more downside. So we need to maintain this bullish structure at 194 for these buys to still be valid. And then of course, if they pull through, if we see the continuation, then up at 199,500, I'll be looking for my sells. And then again, I'll be looking for a really big move to the downside, but we'll get to that when we get to that. For now, focus on buys here, looking for that high low and a continuation back to the highs at 199,500 for next week. Okay, so over to gold. So gold, I can't get a good read of gold, to be honest. The price action does not look very great, to be honest. We got equal highs up here, equal lows down here, a bit of a fake out there, price is back inside the range. So I'm just looking at that as a ranging market really with gold, and not really planning to get involved in any trades in this area. Again, it's not me saying that you can't find a good trade there. It's just that for my personal trading, I'm liking momentum, I like trends. Not really seeing that right now. Of course, in the grand scheme of things, gold is definitely trending to the upside. So I'm still definitely bullish, still looking for a push back to the all-time high here and higher prices. But in terms of finding a buy, as I said last week, this is still the area which I want to long gold from. Back down at these lows here, looking for that big double bottom. Hopefully you can find a position there, stop loss below the low. And if it does play out, I'm looking at a really healthy risk reward back to some highs up there. Of course, I'm not too sure if I hold the trade that long. I'll be trading stops, so there's a good chance I'll be trailed out before that, but at least I'm putting myself in a position where I've got a relatively safe stop loss and I'm maximizing my risk reward if we do see the continuation from there. In these areas, might catch some nice bounces, but it's difficult to say what the market's going to do next. Maybe unless we can break the highs here, then of course, probably a good chance of a continuation there as well. But well and truly, this is really the area that makes the most sense to me in terms of gold's price action. Maybe in the lower charts, there's some opportunities there, but really not really worth my time looking into that, because it just looks very messy. And if the setup is not clear, that I don't see in the first kind of 20 seconds of looking at a chart, then it's probably not an opportunity worthwhile. So that's really what I'm looking at for gold. Still have to wait patiently for that to happen, but still bullish, still looking for a push back to the highs, just waiting for gold to kind of clean up. Okay, so over to Bitcoin. So Bitcoin doing a very good job at holding on to some crucial support. I've talked a lot about this support past couple of weeks, because if price doesn't hold this support, I do think we're going to have a pretty big breakout on our hands, and the next big level is 73, 74k. So it is a really important job that it does hold on to support, or we could go for a pretty big drop. But at the moment, it's doing a pretty good job at holding on to that level. So if we do maintain that, I do expect to push back to the highs at 107k, and maybe a lot higher as well, back to 120, the next kind of big psychological level. Actually, we got 110 to cross off first, then 120. But there is a lot of upside still with Bitcoin. Again, Bitcoin relies a lot of momentum. So if we do kind of push on, see some new highs again impulsively, that could really start another really big bull run. However, if we don't see that momentum and we do break through, then I am looking at some shorts back down to 73, 74k. Then again, we can speak about the buys, because that's another big level we could definitely turn around from. But crucial level right now. So if you're looking at buys for Bitcoin, this is the level to do it. Stops below the low, targets back at the high. Should we have a deeper correction, this will be the next best area for buys for me. Then again, looking for a push back to the highs and so on and so forth. But that remains the plan for Bitcoin going into next week. Okay, so bonus pair this week is US 100 NAS. It looks good for some more upside. I don't really trade NAS, but I do keep up to date with the price action and I do like what I'm seeing. I was speaking about double bottom at this area here and it looks like it's playing out very well. So if you are looking at intraday, I'll be looking at some pullbacks, some higher lows, and look to try and trade it back to the highs there. If I expand to the higher time frame, the daily chart, the trend is still very much in full swing. We're still seeing consistent higher highs and higher lows. As you can see, the major high lows here still intact. Still a lovely pullback. Looks like a double bottom is forming. So the next play for me would be a push back to this zone here, which of course is the all-time highs, 22K and beyond. Really nice bullish engulfing candle there on the daily chart. And if I drop right down to the hourly chart as well, you can see we've just broken through some structure. Lovely double bottom, big reaction, taking out the structure here as well. So the plan would now be some pullbacks on the lower charts. And then, oh, did not mean to do that. And then some higher lows. I like this brief consolidation here. Lovely pause in the market. Will be a nice place to buy on early next week. So yeah, very bullish on NAS 100. As long as we kind of keep up that double bottom and definitely stay above that higher low there, it looks like we can see a lot more continuation. But what really sold it for me was this break of structure just before the daily weekly candle close. So now we're looking for higher lows and more upside. And you've got a long way to go. Of course, I would keep an eye on this area here. I think that's an area where price could potentially sell off from. But well and truly, if the trend's going to continue, we'll go back to those highs. So it could be a position you kind of get in, hold, trail stops, and could be onto a really big winner there, and maybe some additional trades along the way. But very bullish on NAS, expecting a push back to the highs. Lovely double bottom at play. As long as we can hold this support level at 2800, I do still see a lot more upside for NAS. And yeah, guys, that has brought us to the end of the analysis. If you have found it useful, please be sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and of course, make sure you do hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Make sure you do check out the Elevating Traders Discord channel, completely free to join. Link to that in the description below. You can't miss it. There are updates there with Elevating Traders, but of course, with trading side of things, I do share updates there, what I'm looking at, other people discuss, share what they're looking at as well. Join the growing community if you are interested. Like I said, links to that in the description below. But guys, well and truly appreciate you tuning into the content. Like I said, if you've liked, subscribed, I really do appreciate that, guys. But have a great day, have a great weekend, and I'll catch you all in the next one.